I'm Christopher Kent. Welcome to Flea Market Mania. We're here at the Berks County Heritage Center in Reading, Pennsylvania. Folks from all around have come to enjoy the 20th annual Berks County Heritage Festival, and they brought their antiques and flea market finds for us to appraise. So come on, let's get started. I'd like to welcome you to the show. And your name is?
Arlene Dorman.
Arlene, what have you brought me here?
I brought you a Shirley Temple cup.
You did indeed. Any other pieces to this set? Do you have?
No. I have 2 or 3 more pieces, something like it.
All right.
But this is the better one of the 3.
Yeah, you got a really good one here. And how did you come by this piece?
We bought it at a sale about 15 years ago.
And do you remember what you paid for this piece?
Yes.
What did you pay for this piece?
$75.
All right, 15 years ago. They were hitting you up for bucks 15 years ago, and that was a good price then that you were paying for it. Now, have you done any homework on this particular piece?
No, I haven't.
All right, so you brought it to the right place. When these were in production, and they were mass producing Shirley in the 30s, latter part of the 30s, big time, all over the place. Wherever they could capitalize on Shirley Temple, and what an incredible performer she was, they were knocking them out. This would have been part of plates, cups and saucers, juice glasses, all kinds of water glasses. Her face was literally everywhere, and I hope she's still getting residuals on this sort of thing. Probably not. But at $75 15 years ago, you were paying a premium price for this. However, you'll be probably very happy to know that this has increased in value. Anything Shirley Temple. We had a doll here on the set yesterday, mint condition. And Shirley Temple from that series, made by Ideal, was sold at auction not long ago for $4,500. A very nice, simple one, an original outfit. So when we look at these that were post-Depression era manufacturing with a nice little waffly design on them and so forth, purely, they were almost giveaways then. They certainly aren't now. You're looking at this particular glass in mint condition. We got no chips, dents, mutilations, nothing. You're looking easily at about $350 for this particular piece.
Wow.
So when you realize the appreciative value from 15 years ago at 75, I keep saying it's better than stocks, it's better than bonds. Just start investing in some really good collectibles like you have. Now, what are the other ones that you have that are not in good condition?
One is like a milk picture.
Yes.
Picture.
Yes. And we have the full face.
Yes.
Of Shirley on that.
Yes.
Okay.
And the other one is a little bit bigger than this, and it doesn't have a handle on it.
So it's a small juice glass.
Yes.
For the most part.
It came out of an oatmeal box. And the lady who had it was 75 years old.
Wow. Yeah. A lot of these, as I said, promotional giveaways for the most part, and or box tops. And I love that whole form of collecting, which is a big, big form of collecting. Your milk jug is in mint condition, is between $650 and $800 in mint condition. Juice glasses are starting at about $75 to $100 in that neighborhood. She was great when she was around the first time, and she continues to pay off. Thank you so much for bringing it.
You're
welcome.
What
a pleasure. Thanks.
Thank you.
We're talking to
Boyd Beasley.
Boyd, tell me about my friend here, my sidekick.
Well, a good buddy of Charlie McCarthy. Used to ride around the car together. Made in 1968.
Now, one of the telltales. This is actually Mortimer Snurd, which probably you all recognize. A close family resemblance to me. One of the ways you're going to find out exactly manufacturing, you want to look on the applied pieces. Cloth body, but usually in the back, on the neck, or on the head, or on the inside of the hands, you're going to see where a manufacturer actually has stamped. And right in here we've got our copyright with Juro Novelty Company, 1968. So you can tell you book value exactly. You can turn to your happy little resource books and say, yep, this is exactly what this cost because this is what they're saying. Now, condition number 1 is the most important factor because these guys can look absolutely dreadful and bring in a high price tag as well. He's in great shape, and we've got him marked at about $195, which, frankly, is about book price for this guy. He is in mint condition. These little ties a little floppy here, but that's not a problem. Things that you want to look for in this is a composition. This is a composition plastic, hands, face, and the feet are going to be cloth. Anything that is deviates from that, you've got perhaps not an authorized piece. That'll be a reproduction piece, and you want to be a little wary about that. I want to thank you for sharing Mortimer with us. He's in great shape, and I knew you were going to sell him today.
Probably will. Thanks for stopping by.
Thank you. Talking to
Vicki Todd.
Vicki Todd.
Right.
Let's focus in on this piece right here. This is
Okay.
incredible. What have we got?
This is Mark's 27-inch pressed steel, pre-war. Wonderful airplane for its time, considered state of the art in 1940, and probably on every little boy's Christmas list.
There it was.
Yeah.
They had to have it.
Had to have it. Great plane. Mark's, great toy manufacturer.
Absolutely, one of the best.
Yeah,
one of
made
the
kids
best.
happy. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, what kind of price tag do you have on this?
I have $275 on it because it is in played with condition. If it was pristine, it could be twice that easily.
Absolutely, easily.
But the little boy or the child that got it played with it, and so it does have some.
I saw recently
Where?
one that had its original packaging. Who
Right.
keeps original packaging?
I don't know. Back in the 40s, I'm not so sure who did.
But when they did, this particular piece went for $1,250.
Oh, I believe that.
And it-
Absolutely.
Not surprising at all.
No.
Do you have others in your collection, or is this your prime piece?
No, planes are very hot right now. This is the only one I brought with me today because I have a lot of other wonderful toys. I have a circus tent maybe you would be interested in.
Can we go over and look at this circus tent? Let's go. Come on. Let's travel.
Okay. This is a wonderful piece. It's a folk art piece, and somebody's grandpa made this for a really lucky little grandchild.
It's wonderful.
Three-ring circus. All the performers are lead, and
here? Okay,
here's
great.
the weightlifter, the clown on the ball. This guy's my favorite. The clown in the barrel with the dog.
Now, do we know who manufactured these pieces?
Okay,
Are they marked
because
at all? I see nothing.
this is a folk art piece, and this is a depression piece also.
Mm-hmm.
And because of the times, this is really a mixture. Like this is a Britain.
Yes.
This is believed to be a gray iron. And some of these, we're not even sure who made them. As you said, they're not signed.
Right.
And so you have 11 performers in the circus tent, and in the 30s, it was really tough, and so this was
Absolutely.
put together as,
This
a
was quite
really
a
wonderful gift for
prized
a
collection.
lucky child.
And
yeah.
it is not surprising, even if we can't attribute a maker or a maker's mark on this,
Right.
you have marked on here 250 for all of the pieces,
Right.
which is an excellent price.
Exactly.
Because if we had a maker's mark, and we can definitely say it's 20s and 30s, you're looking at an item like that piece alone would be that price.
Yeah, it's a great set.
It's a wonderful
Yeah.
set, and I thank you very much
Thank
for
you,
sharing it with
Chris.
us. When we come back, we've got antique postcards that are mesmerizing. We're back, and we're talking to
Pam Donath.
Pam. You've got a great collection of postcards. Tell us about these postcards. These that we've got laid out here are absolutely wonderful.
Well, there's such a variety in old postcards,
Yes.
and most of them started right around the turn of the century. That was the high time for postcards. You'll find things like real fur making up a bear, or feathers in a turkey.
Beautiful.
You can find them where you hold them up and light comes through the windows.
Like this one. Beautiful.
Yes.
Beautiful. Now, these were postcards. Actually, were a spin-off of the hardback photographs you could get when you went on your grand tour and so forth and
True,
so on.
true.
And so this was a less expensive way of reproducing that same image.
Right.
And then also, clever people that they were, this was advertising, this
Yes,
was
definitely.
promotion, this was everything all rolled into one, and it
Right.
cost very little to reproduce
Right.
this, as opposed to the whole photographic process.
Exactly.
What kind of prices do you have on these?
Well, the special things like this generally price around $10 a piece. When you think that originally when they sold for a penny a piece.
Yes, exactly right.
So they have, but it's a very popular hobby. I think a lot of people are as much entranced with the art of it as with the nostalgia of views of their hometown or where their mom grew up, that kind of thing.
Look at that one with the glitter. Happy birthday.
It has pearls on it.
Absolutely wonderful. Wonderful. It's a great collection. How did you get started in collecting cards?
Well, you're going to find this a little strange. We had a man that we knew come to us about 20 years ago with an old shoebox full of postcards. And he said to us, this was Christmas time, he said, I want to get my wife a specific piece of china in your shop. I don't have the money. Will you take this box of postcards? And I wanted his wife to have the piece of china. So I said, certainly. And I took this box of postcards and I said to my husband, what am I going to do with this? And so I started to deal with postcards.
And then you found out exactly what that box of postcards was
That's
worth.
Right. And I did better than he.
So it's a wonderful thing when you can actually find real goodies inside your shoebox. And I want to thank you so much for sharing them with us.
Pleasure.
I'd like to welcome you to the show, sir.
Well, it's nice to be here.
And your name is?
George Dunlap.
George Dunlap. You have brought an incredible collection of postcards. And the packaging itself is absolutely charming. What can you tell me about them as far as their history is concerned, as far as you're concerned?
Well, from my grandparents on my mother's side, they've been here since 1700s. I don't know if we have anything earlier than this, but ever since I was a child, started in 1934, these things came up in my life from year to year as we went to Annville, where my grandparents lived. And as a child, I remember going through these things, and they're still the same things and in the same form, and since all those years up until today.
Have you ever had this collection appraised? And we've got pages and pages and pages, really truly beautiful.
No, they've just been in the family, locked up in the dark.
Well, before we had the greeting card per se, we had the postcard. And so the brilliant people in Germany in particular, we always harken back to Germany because they knew how to make a buck. They also knew how to commemorate holidays, birthdays, any sort of greeting. One of the first to produce cards like this in this chromolithographic effect. And as far as the postcard business is concerned, it's a very, very broad range of collecting. We've got them from photographic techniques to these beautiful stylized lithographs as well. So as a result of that, the prices range from $5 to a card to way up into the stratosphere, depending upon the uniqueness of the card and the rarity of the card itself. And looking at a lot of these are coming from the turn of the century. Latter part of the 19th century, but more importantly into the 19th century. And so we've got a good cross-section of early 20th century cards here.
I agree.
Most of them are going to fall within the $15 to $25 price range until, as we flipped, drum roll please. Until we come to cards, and I'm going to close this because there's a little bit of a wind here, until we come to cards like this. This particular one.
All right.
Anything that is to do with regional, geographic, historic, that's another form of collecting. People get very excited about that. When we do have things that deal with folklore, in particular with depictions of Afro-Americans, like this particular one is, then we have an exciting form of collecting. I saw also there's one on the flip side as well, right here. These cards are highly, highly sought after. A collection like this, early 20th century, recently went at auction. There were 25 in the collection, and they brought upwards to $5,000 for the entire collection.
You just warmed me up.
Absolutely. We've taken the frost off the day here. This particular card I would put at auction could start at a reserve price of about $250 for this particular card here. This one, as we flip back to it, the condition is not that great, but nevertheless, the message and the depiction is incredible as far as a collectible item is concerned. And I would put this one between $250 and $500 for this card alone. My advice to you is to take the time and the patience and the energy that's involved in having this collection appraised card by card. You need to speak to an expert who deals in only postcard collectibles, and he will be very, very excited to see this one. Also, early photographic of panoramic views, scenes, interior shots done in a photographic style.
Yes.
Are highly collectible.
Okay, we
and
have those.
They're going between $50 and $150, depending upon the subject matter.
Oh.
You got a great collection here, and I want to thank you very much for sharing them
Well,
with
I
us.
thank you, sir.
What a treat.
Boy, your hands are cold, too.
But a warm heart.
Yes,
There
it just
you are.
warmed me up. And now my better half.
Perfect. Perfect. We've got incomparable Camper when we come back. We're back, and I'm talking to
Joan Datesman.
Joan.
Yes.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
You've got a singular collection and a singularly beautiful collection of Camper.
Merci.
Tell us about your Camper.
Well,
This one in particular.
All right, we'll start with the plate that you're holding because it is the oldest plate that I have here. It's from about 1830 in superb condition and not at all what most people think of as Camper, n'est-ce pas?
Yes, absolutely.
Older, earlier, very, very, no signature.
And we're going to turn this around
Yeah.
so you can see that there's no
signature.
No
which is-
initials, no nothing.
No, rien du tout.
Yes.
Okay, because what most people think of as Camper, we get to the little peasant, and this is sujet ordinaire, the lady. And
Yes.
this is the traditional Camper, but these little people don't appear until almost about the last third of the 19th century. So there was a period in between where they were doing all sorts of other wonderful things, very fine and very rustique like this. So if we move over here,
Let's
can
move
we
back
move over
here
here?
because
Yes.
you've got a real cross-section of all
indeed.
kinds of pieces
Indeed.
here.
Yes. Now the lions, I have to tell you, are not Camper. They're Saint Clement, which is another faience, but they're
Another
elegant.
part of the world,
Another
yes.
part of France.
Yeah,
yes.
France,
but,
yes.
But plates like this, which are very fine.
Beautiful.
Yes.
I'll hold that for
Yes. Those are towards the end of the 19th century, and they're considered the finest quality that was ever
Exquisite.
produced by the Pourquet-Beau. That's called the intersecting PB by the Pourquet-Beau factory. They were
Beautiful.
two men, and they did superb work. And at the same time, can you hold?
Yes, of course.
Okay.
Sure.
At the same time, there was another factory, the De La Robaudière factory, HB.
Huh. This is
Okay.
what people most
HB and Henriot.
exactly.
We'll move up to Henriot.
They liken it to this must be Camper because it's got the HB
yeah.
on it.
Well, yes, but this is old HB, 19th century, and the quality is very fine.
Very sharp.
Yes.
Very fine.
And a lot of detail. A lot. Look at the difference between that side and that side. You see?
Magnificent.
Yeah. So a lot of
Magnificent.
detail on those pieces. Then we get to the turn of the century, and then the Henriot factory makes its introduction. And originally, they only signed their work HR.
Aha.
All right? But it's Henriot that we know the best. And that's the middle, that's from 1922 on.
Which for most Americans equates to Henriot.
Yes, yes.
H-E-N-R-I-O-T. So you recognize it in print.
But
Yes.
we do try to say Henriot.
Henriot.
Henriot, merci.
Absolutement.
Okay, very good. Very good. And when it becomes Henriot, again, there is a difference. This is a finer quality. It's a little older. In 1922, it changes, and then we get Henriot spelled out in full.
Perfect. Now, really quickly, I want to move right over here. We
All right.
change tunes completely, and we move Camper into the deco
Oh, yes.
right over there.
Oh, yes.
The one with the gazelles on it, this
Yes,
one right
all
here.
Okay.
Beautiful piece.
The HB factory in the 20s was the originator of two very distinct styles, and this is one of them. Let me quickly do the lamp because this was the other one.
Okay.
All right, can we just shoot on the lamp? This is called Breton broderie, and it's raised.
It's all raised work.
Yes, it's all raised work. So this was their distinctive style, and then we go back to this. This was their other distinctive style, and it tied in with the whole Art Deco period, and they did fabulous Art Deco pieces.
Magnificent.
Yeah.
I loved seeing from the oldest to the youngest.
Yes.
And you've been an absolute delight.
Thank you
Thank
very
you so
much.
much for sharing them with us.
Oh, I'll be glad to anytime.
Well, perfect. We'll have you back again.
Merci.
Good. I'd like to welcome you to the show. And your name is?
Kathy Dunlap.
Kathy Dunlap. Tell me about what you know about this particular plate.
Well, I don't know too much
All
about
right.
it. It's just that it was my husband's mother's china, and she had lots of it. And
Lots of it.
We inherited it.
Okay.
And I have no idea what any of it is. All I know it's from early 19th.
Oh, yes, exactly. It is 20s, 30s, and 40s. We see a great deal of this kind of dishware. And it was manufactured by the National Brotherhood Operative, which is in Ohio. Yes. And we'll see if we flip around to the back here, which is really rather difficult to see, but we also have the Masonic eye on here as well, which is part of the whole operation of these people. They manufactured this, as I said, in the 20s, 30s, and 40s. It has fallen into a realm of collectibles, what we call from the past. Some of our past, some of our parents' past, but the recent past, as far as that goes, does not fall into the category of an antique, quote unquote, but does definitely fall into the realm of a collectible item, and it awakens sort of a nostalgic sort of form of collecting, okay? Now, they made millions of different pieces to go with this decoration. This is called bridal blue. We have a transfer around of the gold work on here, which is usually 22 karat gold, and they usually tell you that. And then we have the transfer, color transfer of the flowers in the middle. Most of these pieces didn't have a lot of handwork on them. They were, in fact, mass produced in rather utilitarian designs. And as I said, there will be all sorts of serving pieces with this. There would be the place settings as well, cups and saucers, you name it, by the gross load. Now, as a result of mass producing these pieces, they were not terribly expensive when you bought them in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, okay? So they were readily accessible to a large group of people, all right? As a result of that, people said, oh, well, you know, they didn't cost much. My grandmother had them, you know, and they offload them. They just get rid of them. So they either are circulating on the market or you rarely see them, okay? This is a good thing, because if you're rarely seeing them, that means the price has already gone up on these. Single place settings of these, and normally there are 6 pieces per place setting. Do you have place settings as well, or just serving pieces?
Just serving pieces.
All right, serving pieces, we'll deal with those. These are starting at about $50 to $75 a piece for these. Platters 9 inches, 12 inches, and upwards are usually starting at about $75 and working up in increments of usually $25 up from there. They are very collectible. They're very. You see, when you see them at all, you're seeing them in antique malls and things like that. And people are really cashing into our recent past. So this is a highly collectible piece. They will continue to increase in value. So hang on to them and take good care of it. And don't put them in the dishwasher. Okay?
Thank you.
Thank you very much for bringing them. It was a pleasure to see it.
Thank you.
Shirley.